set. Doesn't matter. But here's the weird thing. It replaces the original studio version. The original studio version is nowhere on any of it.
That is crazy. I just don't understand that.
Yeah, that's totally crazy.
Pull your hair out, right?
Hey everybody, this is TJR.
And this is Robert Kinsler.
And we just want to welcome you to The News. This is the weekly show where Robert and I discuss the music news headlines and new music releases that have grabbed our interest and that we want to share with you. As always, we can't cover everything. So if we missed anything, please share it in the comments and show your support by clicking like and playing these videos to the very end so that the YouTube algorithm recognizes us. Now, this week, we're going to be discussing a lot of upcoming new releases and some really big mega box sets. I know you can't wait to get started, Robert, but before you do, it's funny how this worked out because just the other day, I posted a video about the Beatles Revolver set and discussing some of the complaints I get every single year that these type of sets are cash grabs. And we've got some mega sets here and we're going to talk about them and let's just see if we think these are worthwhile or not. I guess it all depends.
Yeah.
On how much you're excited about the band.
Exactly. I was going to say your level of fandom and enthusiasm about these specific releases. Yeah.
Yeah. One man's cash grab is another fan's deepest wish. So
exactly.
All right. But I'm going to let you take it, man. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, hey, TJ, I'll get started. So October 2nd, which is coming up, we're only a few days away from that, will mark the 5th anniversary of the passing of Tom Petty. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers had this legendary run of shows, and these are being commemorated, speaking of big box sets, via Live at the Fillmore 1997, which is coming out on November 25th. This collection will revisit Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers' 20-show residency at the famed San Francisco venue. It will come via a number of formats, including a 2 CD, 3 LP, 4 CD, 6 LP, and a 6 LP Uber Deluxe version. Ooh. So depending on your level of fandom, you can check one of these out and plan on adding it to your library. This has been a long away by fans, and it will mark Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers' first live collection in 13 years. So it has been a while since we've got something like this. And kind of to whet our appetites, they did release one of the advanced tracks, Listen to Her Heart, which sounds great. The media release and stuff goes on and on and on. So if people want to check that out, they can definitely read it on my musicworthbuying.com site. But this is a quote from Tom Petty that was in the liner notes. It kind of sums it up. We're musicians and we want to play. We've made so many records in the past 5 years. I think the best thing for us to do is just go out and play, and it will lead us to our next place, wherever that may be. And that was something that Tom Petty said for an interview in the San Francisco Chronicle before this particular run of shows. But this is one of those sets where I may spring for the Uber Deluxe one. There's so many great tracks on here. I mean, highlights, at least on the expanded one, include they do a version of Bob Dylan's Knock on Heaven Door, J.J. Cale's Crazy Mama, the Rolling Stones' Time Is on My Side, and selections that were written by the Kings, Everly Brothers, Bill Withers, the Byrds, Chuck Berry, and more. So you can see this is a pretty elaborate show, and I'm guessing no two of these shows were identical. So it sounds like you're getting kind of the best of everything with this collection, especially if you spring for one of the bigger sets, TJ.
Sounds cool. I've got a box set that I want to talk about here. My feelings might differ a bit from yours, but I think it's still significant. It needs to be talked about. This year, Guns N' Roses is going to re-release Use Your Illusions 1 and 2. It's getting the Super Deluxe treatment. It's set for release on November 11th, and it's going to be on both CD and vinyl. Both Super Deluxe sets feature a total of 97 tracks. 63 are previously unreleased. The Super Deluxe CD set is 7 CDs and a Blu-ray. The Super Deluxe LP set is 12 LPs and a Blu-ray. A huge difference in prices, and they're both priced pretty high. The Super Deluxe CD is $259.98.
Wow.
The Super Deluxe 12 LP set, $499.98. Both Super Deluxe editions also include the complete live audio recording live in New York, taped at the Ritz Theater on May 16th, 1991, with sound newly mixed from the original multitrack tapes. Also included is the complete audio recording of Live in Las Vegas, taped at Thomas and Mack Center on January 25th, 1992, newly mixed from the original multi-track tapes. The Blu-ray video is the complete live New York concert, newly transferred from 35mm film prints to 4K UHD in its entirety, along with audio mixed in Dolby Atmos, Dolby True HD, 5.1 surround, and PCM 48 kilohertz 24-bit stereo. The Blu-ray also features the brand new live music video, You Could Be Mine. This is the first time release of any complete audio and video concerts from the Use Your Illusion era of Guns N' Roses have been made available. The Super Deluxe box sets are housed in a 100-page hardcover book with unreleased photos, memorabilia, and archival documents, and a whole ton of other goo-gaws that you can read about on the website if you want to go to their store. I'm not going to get them all here. We'd be here forever. And there will be separate CD and LP releases, as well as a double CD, also a limited colored 4 LP set of just the 2 albums, limited to 5,000 copies, packaged in an exclusive foil art slipcase and exclusive Xerotype turntable mat. That particular one is going to set you $124.98.
Wow.
And I'll admit, the pricing on the individual CDs, the double CD and the individual album, are all competitive. They're not overpriced, in my opinion. I wish I could be more excited about this one. Here's why I'm not. The Good, both albums are remastered for the first time ever from high-resolution 96 kilohertz 24-bit transfers from the original stereo half-inch analog master tapes. Both SCD sets, Super Deluxe sets, have the same material and include the Blu-ray. The Bad, the bonus discs, are live material only. No demos, alternate takes, rehearsals, none of that. No 5.1 or Dolby Atmos mix of the actual albums on the Blu-ray, just the live shows. Also, there is one other thing that I think is just really weird. On every single version that you purchase, be it the single CD or the Super Deluxe set, there's a new version of November Rain featuring a full 24-piece orchestra. That's really cool. That's whether you buy the single CD or the big set, doesn't matter. But here's the weird thing. It replaces the original studio version. The original studio version is nowhere on any of it.
That is crazy. I just don't understand that.
Yeah, that's totally crazy.
Pull your hair out, right?
I mean, they got some things right by saying, yeah, put the Blu-ray in both. But, no 5.1 or Dolby Atmos of the studio album, of either studio album. That seems like such a standard. I guess if you like the live concert stuff better, then that's probably going to be more to your liking. I'll be honest with you. I only recently revisited Use Your Illusions 1 and 2 several months back. I did two videos where I talked about each one. I hadn't listened to either one in like 30 years. They never made that big of an impression on me. And I even later on ditched the copies I had. I listened to them again and I found that 1 was way better than I remembered, and 2 was about as forgettable as I remembered. And you can watch those videos. I'll leave links. But I would probably, if I was going to get these, I think I'd only get the single CDs release versions because I'm not interested in the live tracks. I can stream those if I want to on Tidal.
Yeah.
But so I'm just wish I could be more excited.
And it sounds like it's pretty expensive for what you get. I'll tell you, TJ, I was just a little bit removed from what you're saying. That's when I saw Guns N' Roses the first time, was during that era. And I'll never forget it because I think Skid Row opened for them, and then you anticipate Guns N' Roses is coming out, 20, 30, 40, 45 minutes later. It was well over an hour, and a lot of people, it was during the week, a lot of people were booing, and many people started leaving. They came on so late. I did stay for the full concert, but they didn't necessarily care about their fans as much as like an act like a Bruce Springsteen or a U2 or somebody like that. Yeah, they were pretty arrogant, but that's just an aside. So I think because my memory is associated with that, I haven't necessarily delved back into those albums. So
let us know what you think of this in the comments.
Now, TJ, we're gonna continue on this course here, because next I'm going to talk about the deluxe reissue of John Mellencamp's Scarecrow. Now, this is coming November 4th, so it's coming up, and I have to tell everyone this is my favorite John Mellencamp album. It was originally released back in 1985, and it's I think it's kind of what took him from his John Cougar kind of early days and really put him on the map as a serious artist, kind of like a Bruce Springsteen or a Peter Gabriel, somebody where, hey, wait a minute, this guy isn't just a hit maker. He has something to say here. And this is going to hit the shelves on November 4th, as I noted, as a 2 CD box set containing a remastered version of the original album, alternate versions and unreleased bonus tracks, as well as a photo booklet and new liner notes by author and music critic Anthony DeCurtis. But if you're a super fan, and again, I'm going to have to see how my budget is with all these things, fans can also splurge on the Super Deluxe Edition box set, which includes a 2 CD collection, a 2022 Atmos mix of the original album on Blu-ray CD, a 180-gram LP, an original picture sleeve of the Small Town 7-inch single, a photo booklet, lithographs, poster, and essay. I did some checking and I saw it on Amazon, and as of today, which we're shooting this on September 26th, it looks like it's retailing for just under $150 for that Super Deluxe Edition box set. So again, it's a little, if it was just one great box set, but so many of them are coming out that I'm like you, I'm really having to see what I can afford. I'm not wealthy here, and I know you're in the same boat as I am. And probably many of our viewers, same. You want to get all this, but you just can't afford it all. Just a little bit on Scarecrow for people. It was originally released back in August 1985, and it didn't get to number 1 on the Billboard 200, but it did get to number 2. And among the great classic songs on it were Small Town, which probably everyone knows, Lonely All Night, and ROCK in the USA. Those are some of the great songs out of Scarecrow. So again, this is very exciting, but we'll have to see if I do go with a more modest version or spring for that big deluxe one.
Either way, it sounds like it'll be pretty cool. And as always, I would say this to everybody: don't forget, it's very rare that these sets don't get sent to streaming. If you have streaming, you can just stream it and at least listen to everything. I'm going to go ahead now and just follow this up with a quick song recommendation. Billy Idol has an EP out called The Cage. And there's one track in particular that I chanced upon that just really tickled me, and I really liked it a lot. It's called Miss Nobody. I just want to give a shout out to this track. It's a fun bit of modern retro disco dance music that feels just as appropriate in the 70s as it does in 2022. It's a fun musical balancing act that never takes itself too seriously. I love Billy Idol's very low key, I'm too cool for the room vocal delivery on this particular one. It provides the perfect contrast to the high energy female backup vocals. And I love the 70s vibe synthesizer solo at the end of the song. And so just want to give a quick shout out to that song. Go check that one out on streaming or on YouTube. And I'll let you take it from here.
Yeah, I'll definitely check that out. Look forward to hearing that. So I'm going to this is something that almost got into my radar, and I don't know why. The Doors, I'm sorry there, TJ. The Doors are going to release their last known studio recording that has not previously been reissued, titled Paris Blues. And they're going to reissue that as a special record store vinyl release. So among fans of the Doors, Paris Blues has a near mythical status because its existence has been known, but it's never been heard. It's never been released. And it's kind of complicated. I guess there was only one known copy and it was damaged. But I guess with some of the technology that we've talked about frequently, kind of like what Peter Jackson did with Get Back and those kind of things, they've been able to restore it to at least a listenable version. And that's going to come out on Friday, November 25th. So obviously it's going to be very difficult to get one of those vinyl copies, but maybe, like you say, maybe it will be available on Tidal or, on some of the streaming services, so we can finally get to hear this final Doors, recording that the world has not heard yet outside of the band. So it'll be very exciting. The vinyl edition, I'll just mention it real quick. I'm going to flip through the notes. On side A of the vinyl, it's going to have Paris Blues, and then it's going to have 5 other tracks, including, I guess, some live recordings, and then there'll be 4 recordings on the other side from a live recording. And I guess those recordings feature the Doors with Albert King, the great blues artist. Well, TJ, I want to follow up from a few episodes ago. Sure. I previewed this Creedence Clearwater Revival live album, legendary album called At the Royal Albert Hall. And as people will recall, this was recorded back on April 14th, 1970. And I think I mentioned Giles Martin worked on it. This is a fantastic live album. I can't be more excited about it. It sounds fantastic. The band was firing on all cylinders. I guess there was some behind the scenes drama, but boy, listening to the album, you don't hear any of that drama. You just hear this great young rock band performing some of the all-time great American rockers, of the late 1960s. So, it's, they're Born on the Bayou, Green River, Traveling Band, Bad Moon Rising, Proud Mary. I mean, these versions explode. And just a really good recording. And just really quickly, after I picked this up and bought this, I was so excited that I went on Netflix and then watched the Jeff Bridges narrated documentary, Traveling Band, Creedence Clearwater Revival at the Royal Albert Hall. And that includes the full concert that is on this recording as part of that documentary. And I was even more floored. So if you have Netflix, definitely check out the documentary. If you don't, at least maybe pick up the recording. And but I can't say enough. If you're a fan of CCR, you're going to want to hear this or see that documentary.
Wow. Okay, I'm excited to see this documentary. Thanks for letting me know about that. I'm glad to hear about your reaction to the album. I have heard some of the album already, and it does sound good. And I'm going to hear the whole thing, but I am really stoked now to see this documentary, especially since you said it has the whole concert.
Yeah, it's fascinating because it shows them in Europe. And at one point, I don't want to give away too much, but like John Fogerty, they're asking about the countries. He goes, I've seen the inside of a hotel room. But you do see the band looking out and about, checking out the sights of Europe, and you see little tidbits of them and performing in other places before they get to England as well. But it's very, I just never have seen much footage of CCR and them kind of, communicating with each other outside of, a few grainy live videos. But here you really see a really great quality video documentary. And then also the audio quality of the band playing is great too. So it's the whole 9 yards. You know what I mean? It's great.
So before we go today, I do want to take a moment and just remind everybody about the passing of John Hartman, former Doobie Brothers drummer and a founding member of the band. I'm going to just read a little quote here. Today, we are thinking of John Hartman, or Little John to us, the Doobies wrote in a post to social media. John was a wild spirit, great drummer, and showman during his time in the Doobies. He was also a close friend for many years and an intricate part of the band personality. We send our condolences to all his loved ones at this difficult time. Rest in peace, John. And that's from there. That was an official tweet, but I'm reading directly from Variety's coverage on it. And so just a little bit of information here. Born on March 18th, 1950 in Falls Church, Virginia, Hartman relocated to San Jose, California around 1970. There he formed what would become the Doobie Brothers with singer-guitarist Tom Johnston after being introduced by Moby Grape's Skip Spence. Guitarist Patrick Simmons and bassist Don Sjogren, hopefully I've said that correctly, would be recruited to fill out the initial Doobie Brothers lineup. The band's self-titled debut album, produced by Ted Templeman, would arrive in 1971. Hartman was the Doobie Brothers' sole drummer upon their formation. Hartman's first tenure with the Doobie Brothers lasted from 1970 to 1979, during which he played on several multi-platinum albums, including 1973's The Captain and Me, 1974's What Were Once Vices Are Now Habits, and 1978's Minute by Minute. The latter became the band's first and only number one LP on the Billboard 200 and spawned the chart-topping, Grammy-winning single, What a Fool Believes.
Yeah, thanks, TJ. And last thing I might say too about is I'm really glad that John got to get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with the Doobies back in 2020. He was one of 9 members of the Doobies. As we know, they had kind of a rotating lineup, but I'm really, so many times we've been saddened when some members pass away, but I'm glad he did get that recognition before he passed away.
Great. I'm glad you brought that up. I ditto. I agree. And with that, we'll say goodbye. And everybody, thank you so much for watching to the end. If you like these videos, if you want to see us doing this on a regular basis, please hit like on this video. Click subscribe so you never miss a video, and hit the bell notification icon. And again, thank you. A big shout out to the Patreon supporters who are fierce and mighty, and they get exclusive weekly videos every week that are not available here on the channel. And just thank you very much. If you'd like to be a Patreon supporter, go to patreon.com/TJR, the original. Pledge whatever you can. Every little bit helps. And just everybody, thank you again. We'll see you all in the next video. Bye.
Bye.